when companies give you a graph, sometimes they want to mislead you. They want you to think, right, better of their company, right? And as I said, here's an example here, right? Munchies and Doggos. Munchies obviously produce this graph, okay? So they want you to think that Munchies, the sales of Munchies is way more than Doggos, right? Okay, but the thing is, this is a misleading graph right here because there's no scale on the y-axis, right? So there's no scale on the y-axis, so that could represent one tin of food. It could represent a million tins of food. We actually don't know because they put no numbers in here, right? Okay, so that's a misleading graph, it's called, right? Okay, this one, right? Okay, the same again, right? Okay, so they put in a scale, right? Okay, but this time the scale doesn't start at 0, right? Okay, so look, that much space represents 120, and then the same amount of space represents 20, right? Okay, so that's a misleading graph because it makes it look like Munchies has sold twice as much as Doggos, but they've actually only sold 20 more, okay? Right, so that's a misleading graph, right? On to the next page, right? Okay, here's one here. They've drawn a dog, right? Okay, and look, that dog looks way bigger, right? Remember, they've only sold 20 more, right? But that dog looks way taller, he's wider, right? Okay, so are we going on height of the dog? Are we going on width of the dog? Are we going on volume of the dog? What are we going on? So again, that's a misleading graph. They want you to think that Munchies is a lot more than Doggos, right? Okay, so this is what the actual graph should have looked like. And you can see from the actual graph that there isn't much in the difference between what Munchies sold and what Doggos sold. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at some of these questions together, okay? Because they're pretty, I'm not even going to answer the questions here. I'm just going to say this is a misleading graph, okay? Because it's number of boxes, tens of thousands, okay? So in 2001, they sold so they sold 10,000 boxes. In 2002, they sold 20,000 boxes. In 2003, they sold 30,000 boxes. So, guys, it's misleading because they've drawn three-dimensional. So then the volume of that is 2 by 2 by 2, which is 8. So that's actually 8 times bigger than that. Okay, and this one is the volume of that is 27. So it's more than 3 times bigger, okay? And I think they're supposed to go on the heights. Okay, so it's a misleading graph. We won't even bother answering the questions. We don't need to. Right? Okay, here's number 2. Give one reason why this graph is misleading. Okay, because the scale doesn't start at 0. Okay, so profits skyrocket. But do they? Right, okay, because they're 14.5, 15, 16, yes, they're increasing, but they're not skyrocketing. They're going up slowly, but it's just because they didn't start the scale at 0, it looks like there was very small profits and then there was very big profits. But if you actually look at the small print, there's very little in the difference between January and April. Okay, right, this one. Describe the misleading or poor features of each of the following graph. Fish sold at the market, right, okay, so the width of the bars are different. So you're not comparing like with like, right? This is a narrow bar, this is a wide bar. So are we just looking at the height? Are we just looking at the width as well? Okay, misleading. This one, right, okay, milk production, okay. So B looks way bigger than A, but A is higher than B. So it's hard to know, are we going on volume, are we going on width, are we going on volume, what are we going on? Right, okay. This one is a misleading graph because they don't start at 0. Right, interstate bus fares, it looks like they went way up, but they actually only went from probably about 47.5 to 67.5. So the rise isn't as much as it looks in that. Again, this one, are we going on volumes, are we going on heights, what's the story? Right, okay. This one is misleading because we don't start at 0. Right, okay, what's this? Draw a graph that gives a misleading impression. We won't be drawn. Right, the end. Right, that's the end of that section. Okay, So you can see why I flew through it, because basically you have to compare like with like, and there has to be a scale that starts at 0. Okay, that's all you need to know about misleading graphs. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do some of the revision exercises, right, for chapter statistics 3. Okay, so between now and Monday, because we've a good lot of this class left, okay, let's do 1 to 4. Okay, so page 320, so page 320 to 321, 1 to 4. Okay, so between now and Monday. So I didn't have much to say today. So we're done now. So off you go. Do 1 to 4. You'll have them done by the end of class. So have a nice weekend. Off you go.